Good morning! Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The time is 11:05, so a little bit outside of the 10 a.m.-ish start time. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. It's what you've come to know and love. Anyway, welcome to twitch.tv/icecream uploads. I have something in my eye. And I'm Graham Day, and I'm joined by a man that we call Booby. Look at that face.
Graham.
What a vest. That is amazing. I was just talking about this. This I've had for 5 years. It's a PlayStation basketball jersey by insert coin, and I have never worn it because, well, first of all, I don't suit vests. Second of all, it just hung out there. Anyway, Danielle, I mentioned it to Danielle the other day, and she's put a stitch in it, and it kind of like pulls it in now. So rather than it hanging off me like a badly fitting vest, it fits really good now. But I'm still not a vest person, so I've had to put like long sleeve white t-shirt underneath it so that I can then get into vest. But yeah, it's the PlayStation 20th anniversary insert coin tees vest. That's what it is. But thank you. Unless you're taking the piss, then fuck off.
It's 50-50 with sure. You can never tell, can you?
I mean, to be fair, what can you expect with the relationship that we all have? That's all it ever is. Yeah. Mr. T, what does that emote say, babe? I can't quite see it. What does it say?
Hello.
There we go. Nah, genuinely. Okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah, that's right. Making me blush. But anyway, welcome to the stream, everyone. It is Friday, last day of the week, last scoop of the week. And for everyone saying, what's scoop? We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true Ice Cream fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. As mentioned, my name is Graham Day. This man in the box is the man that we call BB. And we give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, best and breaking stories from the world of video games. This is your daily dose of video games news. Yeah, I got there eventually. I nearly stumbled all my words there. But yeah, anyway, if you are live in the chat, please feel free to get involved, as Show has done already, as Mr. T has done already, because we turn this into a video on-demand podcast that we upload to YouTube. That's youtube.com/icecreamuploads. And then we turn it into an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So if you are in the chat, please feel free to get involved. Speak directly to Bibi on behalf of those that are watching on demand a little bit later on, or listening. And if you are watching or listening on demand a little bit later on, and it's a little bit later on now, then hi from the future or the past. I don't know how that works. Yeah, for delivery. Thanks, babe. I love you. Just had bacon delivery dropped in the room. Oh, it smells amazing as well. It's Graham Day and the soon-to-be PGA Tour #1.
Hey, don't worry. I am back out there again today. Back out there.
Do you need a reminder to activate chatbot? No. Baby. No, it's on it. I mean, that typing is just coincidental. Phantom woman in the stream. Women's in the scoop. No.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, this is amazing. Look at this. I have brew and bacon butties. Special delivery from Phantom Woman. She's wonderful. She is genuinely wonderful anyway, but we took the bacon out last night because we have a freezer full of bacon, because obviously. So we should have had bacon butties and stuff this morning, but the reason Scoop's late is I've been on with school, sorting school stuff out, so we've both been kind of like on the telephone with Chloe's school teachers this morning discussing COVIDness, so the bacon has had to wait, which is why she's just stealthed into the room there, hiding behind that. You just saw like the top of her head up here, so yeah. Thanks, babe, I love you.
I've got something that could potentially be part of the news that isn't part of the news, but I feel like we could just slip it in as something that's quite nice, that without having to show anything, that we could just talk about.
Okay.
while you're stuffing your face.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Have you seen that Twitter? I mean, it's something that I sent you the other day, but this is just a general question to everyone. Have you seen that Twitter have now focused some of their tweets so that you as a person can tweet something and not have anyone respond, barring the people that are in that tweet?
Yeah.
Have you seen that feature?
Mm-hmm.
So Game Central have just tweeted out to say that a new Twitter tool will now allow Naughty Dog to stop people from replying to its tweets with The Last of Us Part 2 spoilers. How amazing is that? That's amazing.
Seen that the other day. Didn't even think of that. Fucking wonderful. Do you know what? I'm going to put it down to that then. I mean, that's probably not what it is, but if that's what it is, fucking Naughty Dog have saved the internet. I mean, it's already a bit too late for me. I've had mine spoiled, but fucking amazing for you guys. Oh.
But yeah, I've literally just seen Game Central tweet it, I never thought of it like that because I genuinely thought, and I seen Show tweet this the other day about people just spouting a load of shit that you can't bring them up on the facts. Do you know what I mean? Like they could just talk about the most insane shit that you've ever heard of in your life, and then people will take it as gospel and run with it, and you can't call them out for the shit. But this, it's like people have been creaming for an edit button for God knows how long, which I'm, to be fair, against an edit button because whatever you type out there, you shouldn't be able to amend it at any point unless it shows you the edits that have gone down the line. I like that feature as it is now, but this is probably for us in the gaming world is probably a fantastic thing because you are less likely to come up against people who are just out to ruin up everything for everyone. It's all right putting the mute, putting the keywords in the mute, so you potentially don't see it. But if people don't use the keywords, then you've got no chance of. You could literally just post the pictures, and you've got no chance of catching it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got done from looking. I can't remember what it was. I said it before. I got done by looking at a tweet from PlayStation about vain bastards or something. It was called something like that. I mean, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was something like that, and it was like the what? So that's what made me click on it, and that's where I saw the spoilers. So yeah, like you say, sometimes it's not even the keywords or the content that you want. But if PlayStation realised, okay, from now until 2 weeks later, any outward messaging that we're going to do like that, we don't want replies to it. Particularly if it's around.
Amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I'd never thought of it. I didn't like it. I was heavily against it. I was like, what is the point in having social media that's antisocial? Okay, social media. As long as I want you to be social, then I'm thinking, well, you can have locked accounts that only certain people can reply on. Isn't that really what that's for? But now, I like this. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it does stop the general consumers being able to talk. I mean, Naughty Dog never really replies to people anyway, do they? It's more of a PR account that just post stuff about the games that they're going to be making. They don't really reply to many people. So having this in place anyway for accounts that are like that, for like, I don't know, I mean, the two things, games, films, and TV shows are probably the three things that come to mind straight away that people can potentially spoil something for straight away. It's not a sporting event which you can't really predict, can you? So that doesn't really matter. But yeah, when it comes to stuff like this, that leaks have happened and people have been taking the piss, posting it left, right, and centre just to try and annoy other people. Having these accounts there and having the ability to not have people respond to them, but just to still give people information like they've been doing for the longest time anyway. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with that because I, even though I'd seen a bit of a spoiler, I think it's a spoiler. I don't know if it's a spoiler for certain because I half saw it and quickly clicked off it, but I now haven't looked at anything else Naughty Dog have posted in the last 2 weeks because of that. I don't want it to be reaffirmed and stamped. There's still an element of doubt whether it was a spoiler or not for me. I think it was, but there's still a bit of doubt, which I'm clinging to. But I've not been able to look at any of what Naughty Dog's content because of that. So Naughty Dog's marketing is being hurt because of that. From my perspective, no doubt there's other people in the same boat as well that have gone, okay, well, I can't look at it now. I can get back involved. I can rather than watching the hype train pass by and running alongside it, going choo choo on my own because I don't want to get involved and see shit. I can be back on the hype train, yeah. So that's good. I mean, it is good because the only thing I've seen it used by like those sort of like troll accounts or whatever. It was something like. Respond to this and I'll give you 10 quid or whatever like that, and obviously nobody in the fucking conversation, so it's like okay, it's just one meme tool. I mean that's the first time I've heard it and it's already old. No. So yeah.
I mean that's a change on a social media platform, which a lot of people. I mean, Facebook is still the most powerful social media platform in the world because everybody's on that, and not out of my family. I think it's just me and my sister. Obviously not including Samantha and her extended family, but me and my sister are the only ones that are on Twitter. But I've got all my other family side of the family they're all on Facebook. Do you know what I mean? So having this feature on Twitter for someone who uses it all the time is perfect. Really, I can't thank them enough for having something like this. Like you say, it was one of them things where you don't expect it to be used for this, but they've taken the ball and ran with it. I don't expect this was the reason why they made it, to stop people from spoiling shit. Do you know what I mean? But it's helped us along the way.
I think, like Instagram gives you vertical stories and things like that, and being able to swipe up once you hit 10k followers. I'd put something like that on this, rather than just having everyone have non-response messages and stuff, because it then starts to like change the way things work. People will just like have shit hot takes, and I mean, I suppose it'll just mean people get unfollowed. Okay, you're just having crap that you don't want to debate about. Why we're going to a social platform? Unfollow. But I kind of feel like that is when it's useful. That's the first proper practical use. I mean, if people want to give me an education on it, and I've not seen any of Twitter's official documentation, if there is any, on what it's for and why they see it, that might sway me in a different way. My opinion is still to be formed. This is the first thing that I've seen that's forming a positive opinion on it, but I still don't feel that everyone needs access to it. People that have a shitload of following and are using it to spread messages that they don't want people to shit all over and get like absolutely smear campaign like the Naughty Dog. I mean, that's what it was at its ultimate. A smear campaign is to turn someone's audience against them by saying they've done negative stuff. That's not technically what this is, but it is in all intents and purposes. They're just shitting all over their messaging to make it seem bad or to keep people away from them. It's a different implementation, but it's the same outcome essentially in the end. So yeah, giving it to accounts like that's the first proper positive. I like that. I'm on board for that. Love that, says Asim. Okay, I was against the feature, but now I love it, says Shaw. Exactly. Yeah, that's nice. There's something good about it. Gonna tweet shit about Arsenal and not allow anyone but United fans to reply. Get fucked, Asim, says Shaw. You gotta love a Friday morning exchange. I feel the love. Amazing. Although, add that one to the list. Tweet about Arsenal. Yeah, okay, got that down. Nice. Anyway, let's jump in. We have a few news stories to fly through today, and then we will follow with some Masters of the League content. So if you want some Modern Master League on PC, stick around, because myself and Bib, we put up a nice unbeaten run yesterday. We're getting closer and closer to that January transfer window, so it's kind of a pivotal part of the season to see whether we get rid of some players that other clubs are looking at, whether we stick with them and try improve team chemistry and all that. I mean, you'll see it after the show, but let's jump into the news for now. And a game that we're fond of finally now has a release date. As you can see on screen, written by Tom Ivan for VGC, Riot Games' tactical shooter Valorant releases on June the 2nd. The game was previously confirmed for a summer 2020 launch. It's not far away at all. So Riot Games has announced a June the 2nd release date for Valorant. The firm revealed it was working on a competitive shooter codenamed Project A in October 2019 before officially unveiling Valorant this March. The 5v5 character-based FPS, which is billed as a tactical shooter meets hypernatural powers, then entered closed beta in April. Shooting in Valorant is precise, as I know because I keep missing, consequential, and highly lethal, as I know because people keep hitting. We want you to win on your own skill and strategy alone, Riot says. Everyone's got guns and a unique set of abilities, so how do you beat someone with the speed of wind? Use your own moves to outplay them and beat them to the shot. Valorant is a game for bold strategists who dare to make the unexpected play, because if it wins, it works. Jeez. Riot says Valorant players will benefit from the 128 tick servers. Oh, yes, please. And a global spread of data centers targeting under 35 milliseconds of ping in major cities. It claims most minimum spec computers will play Valorant at 30 frames per second, while modern rigs will offer 60 to 144 FPS. Oof, yes, oof. See, that bit is big for me. I love that. 128 tick servers. Do we know what servers? Like, because one thing I see in football video games is a lot of negativity towards online connections. It doesn't matter what video game it is. FIFA fans always complain about FIFA connections. PES fans always complain about PES connections. It's just football video games online. Does anybody know what tick their servers are? Because 128 tick is insane. Aren't like CS, like they're not even up that high or something.
I have genuinely no idea, but I mean, this is automatically straight out the box, giving people, trying to give people the best experience possible, giving them the tools to be able to go out and say, don't worry about it. Even your shitty PC that can play PUBG Lite will most likely be able to get at least 30 FPS on this, which is, I mean, the higher the better, obviously. But I mean, 30 is still more than playable. You might just have a slight disadvantage compared to someone who's got 144. But yeah, it's going to be minuscule. The most important thing is obviously the servers and you not flying about the map, or someone else not flying about the map when you're about to pull the trigger. That for me is more important than anything else. So yeah, having that smooth gameplay is the biggest thing, especially in what seems to be or is echoed to be the biggest esports game that could potentially have come out in the last 3 or 4 years.
It's interesting that they'd gone from having a summer release. Summer goes all the way up to August. To it's coming out not next week, week after, or whatever it is. I mean, where's my calendar? So yeah, not next week, week after. A week and a half away from it coming out. Which is bizarre for them to go sometime in summer to a week and a half, which makes me think: is that anything to do with Crucible? Is it? Is it not? I mean,
no. Do you know what I think it? Do you know what I think it is?
What?
I think it's because not many people are playing it anymore. And I'm not saying that as in like not many people are playing it, but I mean if you go onto Twitch, compared to what they had a couple of months ago, it's nowhere near as popular. But I mean it's still hugely popular. But I think they're waiting for they're trying to maintain rather than dip, because a lot of people now have the code and not watching it anymore. They could be playing it, they could have tried it, they didn't like it. Now they're just trying to open it out to everybody else. I think that's just my personal opinion on it.
No, it's a good opinion. I think that's probably right, to be fair. CSGO is getting 128 tick servers soon, apparently. 64 tick currently. Yeah, that's the thing, 64. And CSGO plays almost flawlessly if you're decent enough at it. I mean, it does play flawlessly to me because I don't even see where I die anytime, so it's fine. It's fine. But 128 tick is obscene in a good way. I'd love for those of you that don't know what tick rate is on a server, imagine it's not refresh rate, but it's similar to that. So it's basically how many times a server kind of like allows you to communicate with it, or how often it looks for it. I'm probably butchering this description, but the higher the tick rate, the faster it processes information, takes it in and sends it out. So like you hit your information on the server and then the server passes it out to your opponent. So the server knows where you both are in relation to each other. So in a shooter game, if you're stood on this exact spot and you shoot someone and they're stood on this exact spot and as you're shooting at them, but in their game they're actually over there, having a slow tick rate server means that's when you're hitting someone but then don't hit people, or you get hit when you're around corners and things like that. Higher tick rate servers mean you're less likely to have that sort of stuff, which is why I've just mentioned I wonder what, and I think I may have mentioned it to you a few weeks back. I don't know what tick rate football games are, but it's interesting that football always has that slow down, laggy sort of stuff. I wonder if tick rate is anything to do with it. But yeah, pretty much every tick is how many times the server can send information packets each second. Yeah, I was just trying to find it in a way that I didn't explain jargon by using more jargon. Information packets, packet loss. What is this? But
it's the ability to see someone instantaneously without them flying to the other side of the map. It's just you want it as close to real time as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that a lot of people that aren't technically minded kind of can't compute a little bit. You're not looking at an opponent. You're basically having someone constantly explaining where someone is. Imagine you're on one side of a wall, someone's on another side of a wall, and you can't see them. There's someone stood on top of the wall going, he's in the middle, he's now moved to the left, he's back in the middle. And you're just going off of their information, and that's essentially what a server does. It feeds that information, apart from you then get a digital representation in the game. So anyway, feckin' hell, down a rabbit hole that we don't need to go down. Let's get back out of the hole. So yeah, Riot Games Tactical Shooter Valorant releases on June the 2nd. Bib's comment of, is that not to stay relevant, because that's a pretty shitty statement for a game that has just had 1.7 million concurrent viewers on Twitch or whatever it was. Big number, up there with the best. So it's not as if it needs to stay relevant, but from a streamer's perspective, I mean, obviously I'm a PUBG fan. Last night, Twitch was flooded with PUBG. There was a lot of people playing PUBG. There was a new patch that came out yesterday that had the rank mode. We covered it in yesterday's scoop. Feel free to check it out. That would be why. But yeah, a lot of people playing PUBG. A lot of people playing Crucible as well. I must admit, I haven't really looked at it, which is part of the reason why I brought the question up. I did watch a little bit and I thought, it just looks a bit naff. Turned it off. Yeah. Last night, laid in bed, just watching something before I went to sleep. Choco Taco's on. PUBG streamer usually. Who's playing Crucible? Let's have a look. I literally watched it for about 20 seconds and I thought, whatever. He's using some sort of slug character, and it just looked a bit naff. I instantly straight off it and back onto PUBG stuff again. But that's the reason I'm asking the question. Crucible is Amazon's big AAA title. That's their big battle royale entry that's coming out now. And they've done the kind of the same sort of stuff that Call of Duty's done, that Apex has done, and things like that. They've allowed loads of people to get on it. They've offered Crucible partner and stuff like that, so that people can get paid to play the game and benefits in that sort of sense. But you've got to kind of think, like, is it enough? I mean, is it enough? I mean, I'm saying this, but as if I don't know. I've not played it. Is that enough? But is that, if it is enough, is that the reason why Valorant have gone, okay, we have another new game? Valorant is nice because it's different. It's still fresh. A lot of people haven't played it. But if Crucible comes in, it's different. It's fresh, and a lot of people haven't played it, and everyone can get their hands on it right now. Is that part of the reason why Valorant have gone, okay, well, we were the different and fresh one, but now, yeah.
I don't think this isn't a competitor to Valorant. Like, I'm watching. I completely forgot this came out, if I'm being honest. But I'm looking at it now, and it is. From what I'm looking at, it looks very much like what Paladins and Overwatch is like, just slightly different. So it's controlling area. You know, like on Battlefield, where you're playing Conquest, and you have to go and hold the flags for as long as you can and let the bar tick up, and then when you get to 128, you win. That's what this looks like, but it looks very much like a Overwatch / Paladins type of thing, but in third person. It looks like you're going out, you're trying to wipe the enemy team in their bases, capture the flag, stay on it for as long as you can, dominate the map. The more flags you have, the faster. Sorry, I'm just burping here. The faster your scores tick up. That's what it looks like. And to me, this looks okay. It definitely looks like something that I would like to try. I don't know whether or not I'd properly get into it, because I do like these kind of games, but I just think it's too samey. But who am I to judge? I've never played it. I'm just watching it now for the first time. Whose channel am I watching it? Well, Baggins TV. He's streamed it. It looks like it's like an exclusive gameplay.
For those of you that don't know, I've just gone to the Crucible category. Just clicked on the top streamer, which is Ava GG. So this is what Crucible looks like for those of you that haven't seen it. It looks kind of somewhere between Apex and Fortnite to me. Like in terms of
the art style.
Yeah. Oh, just wind.
What's just falling over?
No, the wind's just shut the door behind me. It's fine. I've got the window open because it's.
But yeah, it looks like a capture the flag, get the points, and eliminate the enemies as you go along. This looks kind of like Battlefront 2, like not the art style, but the way that the game plays. Like you go in and you're capturing stuff, and then you're moving on to the next thing, just trying to hold as many flags down as possible, or bases, whatever they want to call them in this. But that's what it feels like to me. I mean, it's a free-to-play game, so we'll see how this fares.
Do you know, I've got a mouthful of bacon, so apologies. I genuinely want this to be a success. Not because I particularly like the look of this game or any of that stuff. I do actually quite like the art style. I want this to be a success because it's Amazon Game Services. This is their first major foray into the world of creating their own video game, and I just want the more players we have in that space, the better. So if we have Valve, we have Activision, we have Amazon, we have Epic, we have all of those. We have the PUBG Corp if they keep pulling it out like they seem to be doing recently. The more of that, the better. And not only that, as a Twitch partner, that's owned by Amazon as well. So if Amazon start making absolute banger games, then it's going to be good for the ecosystem on Twitch as well. So yeah.
Without playing it, I don't understand why they would have gone into this kind of market anyway. I just think it's kind of flooded with top tier games, so this was always going to be flagging behind. But I mean, it looks okay from what I'm seeing. It looks like it could be a highly tactical game, and you have to be constantly communicating with your teammates, because you need to be telling them which flag that you're at and which one's about to fall, so you can go in and take it over. And I do like games like that. I've mentioned that before. I mean, I've streamed Battlefield on here countless times because I love that kind of 32-man get on the field and try and take as many bases as you can. PTO, play the objectives, but this looks like that, but it's weird that they've in their first foray they've gone into a game like this. I thought they would probably try to avoid the big type of games just because they're always going to be at a disadvantage straight off the bat.
They wanted to go into AAA. I think that's the reason why they went for it, and that continued service battle royale is where all of the money is. So that's clearly where Amazon have gone for it. But yeah, whether that's a risk or not, I mean, it is a risk. It is a risk, but whether it's a risk that will pay off, we'll obviously see in time.
I mean, it looks like it could survive. This is obviously either beta or it's in full release now, and it looks polished enough. It's just whether or not they can keep the content going, because there's only so many times that you can play with these characters until you get to max level or whatever. I don't know what the leveling system's like or anything before it starts to get a bit tedious. So they need to keep on refreshing it and keeping it new and relevant, because that's how games don't survive. This could be the best game ever for the first 3 or 4 months, and then eventually, unless you start adding stuff to it, it will start to be on the decline because there's nothing else to play for. So it'll be interesting to see how they can keep this going up, whether or not there's going to be new maps, new agents or characters or whatever they want to call the choosable characters in this. I don't know.
What's interesting is this. So obviously the main story we're talking about is Valorant 2. Valorant getting a release date of June 2nd. So there we go. Offers in-game drops. Valorant closed beta. I've got it like popping on screen. Beep, 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 there. Valorant 101,000 viewers. Crucible, which is owned by Amazon, which owns Twitch, has 8.4k viewers and is the newer title. So I think that kind of shows the difference. While Valorant is dropping off, it makes you wonder why Twitch haven't put drops on Crucible. Valorant was so successful and is successful because of that little icon there. People want in-game drops. A lot of people want to get the game. They won't even play it when they get it. They just want it. It's that completionism. It's a video game. I'm chasing it until I earn it. Whereas Crucible,
but aren't the drops for the game itself?
Yeah,
in Valorant,
yeah,
it's for the keys in it, but this is free to play, and it's already out. So that unfortunately, that's the balance that they haven't got. The Valorant have made it exclusive to a small minority of people at this point in time, and then again, it feels like the whole world's got the game at the moment. But there is still people out there that will be watching these streams to try and get the games. So that's, I mean, Amazon probably could have done the same thing, couldn't they? Rather than make it free to play right off the bat, just put it out in beta and then hope that people come to watch this game and it's got enough top tier play. But there wasn't a high profile streamer in the world that wasn't at one point streaming Valorant to try and drop the keys. I mean, at one point, did Summit have 250,000 people watching?
I think it was like 300 and something.
Yeah, and that's just one stream. That's one top tier streamer. And then you had people like the Dark Shroud on Mixer. I don't think they had drops over there, but you had top tier elite people streaming this game to try and get the drop.
Yeah,
I think Amazon could have done the same thing with this.
I think at one point Shroud managed to get up to like 18 viewers on Mixer. So
love you, Shroud. Speaking of loves, yo Zombie, what's going on, right, pal? Hello.
I mean, I'm saying I mean, get whatever. I don't even know what that is. Is he a whatever? I don't care. Whatever. The reason I say that is because where is it? See if this will come up on stream.
Stay frosty, yeah.
Graham sucks Team Bibby. Tongue.
Graham sucks Team Bibby tongue. That was Spike's resub message during the first episode of Master of the League. Get out of here, Spike! No, I'm not joking. I got bacon in my mouth. I apologize. So yeah. Anyway, we went down quite a big rabbit hole there. Wearing. I've just seen Zombies comment saying wearing my jersey today. Going to pop into work to do some shopping. So we'll be repping. Yeah.
Things you love to see.
So we've gone down a rabbit hole. We're talking about tick rates and so on like that, which is where Show says, I'm not sure what it means for how much data can be sent in each tick, which may contribute to why football games may be awkward online. A lot of assets to compute. Yeah, potentially, maybe. I mean, I don't know enough detail. Like I say, I know the functional side of it from a project event marketing level, enough that I need to know to have it figured into stuff. But I don't know how it works internally or to any sort of depth. So yeah. But yeah, then we moved on to obviously speaking about Valorant, why that could be releasing on June the 2nd, and suddenly going from all of summer potentially to 13 days away, 12 days away, whatever it is. And is that anything to do with the fact that the viewer base is dropping off? I mean, Bib mentioned Summit on his own had 300,000 viewers. It's only at 101,000, only at 101,000. It's probably the most viewed games on sort by viewers high to low. I know Fortnite and League of Legends are above Valorant, to be fair, as is just chatting with, that always is. So is it because it's dropping down the list and they want another another boost of resurgence, or is it because the Crucible release from Amazon this week has made them think, actually, do you know what? Maybe we need to kind of make everyone look back at us again. So interesting. Either way, whether you've played it or not, we have on the channel. We have a few broadcasts of it a few weeks back before we started dedicating more time to Masters of the League. We'll probably jump on it again soon because we quite enjoyed it. But yeah, feel free to check those out. However, if you want the game before June the 2nd, jump into Valorant streamers. Drops are still enabled until then, I believe. And then, yeah, you can get the full game there. However, speaking about full games, sometimes you can get full games, and sometimes you can get full games that are a little bit stolen, which is quite a bad thing, as you can see from this article. G2A admits it sold stolen games. Update. Totally committed to tackling any incidents of fraud. This is written by Tom Phillips for Eurogamer. This article came out yesterday, and there was an update as well. So we'll start off with the original bit, and then we'll jump on back up to the update on that one. Original story, 12:30 PM UK. After years of shrugging off claims it sold stolen keys, grey market reseller G2A has admitted to shifting copies which were illegally obtained. The disclosure comes as part of a backfired plan to prove its innocence, which has also cost the company around $40,000. Last year, G2A attempted to dampen long-standing concerns. It did not give a damn where the mysteriously cheap keys it sold actually came from. It laid out a limited-time offer designed to grab headlines after a round of bad publicity saying it would pay game developers 10 times their costs if it was proven G2A sold stolen keys for a particular game. The vast majority of developers ignored the offer, but Factorio developer Woob Software took G2A at its word. Nearly a full year later, G2A has come forward to say, yes, after looking into things, it had indeed sold keys for Factorio, which were stolen. 198 of them, in fact. Where am I? There we go. In a blog update titled Keeping Our Promise, G2A said it held an internal investigation. The original plan for it was for it to be independent, and found the majority of suspect Factorio keys reported to it by Woob Software had been shifted by its own site. Per the terms of the offer, G2A will now pay Woob Software $39,600. When we launched this offer, we wanted to send a clear message to the gaming community that fraud hurts all parties, G2A stated. As we spell out in this blog, fraud directly hurts individuals who buy illegitimate keys. It hurts gaming developers, and it ultimately hurts G2A because we are forced, as the transaction facilitator, to cover costs related to the sale. We wanted to amplify that message and capture people's attention, so pledged to compensate developers 10 times the value of any chargeback fees they incurred, despite the fact that we had nothing to do with the illegal acquisition of these keys. The gaming developer community has our solidarity and sympathies on this issue, and we want to continue building bridges. With our main point being made about the seriousness of fraud in the industry, from now on, we will compensate developers the full value of any chargeback fees they incurred for any keys sold by a G2A marketplace if they are able to prove they were illegitimate. Give me 1 second, I will shut that door because I thought it locked, but anyway. G2A's update offers no plan to stop stolen keys being sold on its marketplace. There's no suggestion of reopening this offer to other developers for an investigation into other game keys. There's no apology of any kind. Yeah, maybe 1 second, let me shut this door. Oh no, the door is shut. Oh no, it's just got to keep banging. Apologies if you keep hearing noise in the background. I may shut the window again if it gets a bit too tedious. But back to the update then. G2A has forwarded the following statement intended to show clearer contrition that in the blog post it published last night, it does not include the words apology or sorry. We would be the first to admit that in our formative years as a company, we took too long to recognise that a small number of individuals were abusing our marketplace, a G2A spokesperson told Eurogamer. However, the criticism we received was the wake-up call we needed, and over the last years we have been totally committed to tackling any incidents of fraud on our site. Today, we use some of the most sophisticated proprietary anti-fraud AI technology of any online marketplace for digital products. Still no apology.
Too little, too late.
thoughts, babe. Go on then. Too little, too late. Explain.
I love the fact that someone's called the bluff, because these video game companies didn't. Well, I mean, shit thing to say, they didn't have anything to lose, because unfortunately this developer, this company, lost 198 keys to their games, which could have been sold for full value rather than what I imagine a highly discounted price. But they've got 40 grand back in the skyrocket now, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? So it's I think more companies could have said to G2A, because it wouldn't be for them to try and figure. It wouldn't be for the company who's putting the complaint against them to find out if it was sold elsewhere. They had literally nothing to lose from that, to say, actually, ours have been sold on your side. Everyone could have said that from a video gamer's perspective, and then ended up getting some money back for it. I mean, I don't think it would have bankrupted G2A, but it depends how many keys and how big the game was, depending on how much they would have got back if it was 10 times the value. So interesting that it's now cost them 40 grand for playing Billy Big Bollocks.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got bigger in my tooth. Give me a second.
It's okay, mate.
Spike says, insert sarcasm. I'm shocked. Yeah. I know some content creators I've worked with G2A, and they've, for the right reasons, turned their back on them. Well, for a number of things. First of all, there was like the dodgy parties. They basically had like weird parties where they offered like girls and drugs and all that sort of stuff, which I can't reference anyone specifically because I believe it was like a don't say anything, don't give any details or whatever. So they've always been a bit dodgy. We knew that anyway. As Spike says, nah, fuck G2A. They knew what they were what was going on, and their profit didn't balls to them. Absolutely. And I think that's the thing. I don't think we can let them get away with it in that sense. By going, oh yeah, in our formative years, we broke the law, but now we're fine. Now we've broken the law to get enough capital and backing and exposure and market share. Now we've broken the law to the point where we're successful and we can maintain. We will stop breaking the law. We will stop stealing from you because we've got enough money to look after ourselves now. That's not good. That's not good at all. Didn't a certain Pez streamer partner with them? I mean, how bad must he have felt to hear this? It's not like he ever stole any money. I don't know. Did one stream? I can't remember. I mean, I probably did know this at the time, but I can't remember. I don't know. Girls and drugs. Where do I sign up? I kid. Maybe.
What was the other one? King Penguin or something like that.
Kingwin.
What was that one?
Kingwin.
That's the only one that I know that people have signed with.
Kingwin.
I know.
I believe is more legit though in terms of like the issue. So for those of you that don't know, that are listening or watching, essentially what would happen is I mean there's probably multiple ways of doing it, but someone would steal a credit card, for example, and then they would buy a bunch of what game was it? The Factorio game from Whoop Software. They'd buy a shitload of those on this stolen credit card. They would then sell those codes on G2A. So they'd make a loss on that, but it's not their money. So what they're doing is turning their credit that they can actually physically touch into a video game which they can sell at a lower price than what it should be. They then get all of the money at a lower price. So they've turned 10 grand of credit card credit into 6 grand of cash, and then they take the 6 grand and get out of there. G2A then get the credit card company go. Oh no, not even G2A. The credit card company go. Whoop. Oh, what actually? I'll get there eventually. So yeah, the guy or girl whose credit card's been stolen then goes to their credit card company and going, you've charged me 10 grand for this. So this company then goes to Whoop and says, yeah, we've given you 10 grand of stuff. That's actually not legit money, so we're going to take that back. So Whoop Software go, okay. And then they see that 10 grand's worth of their games are on sale on G2A. And G2A go, it's not to do with us, that's where we didn't put them there. Other people put them there. We're not. We might maybe take some down, but probably won't. So yeah, you've just lost 10 grand of games. I mean, it's not necessarily that Woob will have then been hit with 10 grand's worth of like cash taken. They would have lost 10 grand's worth of codes. So it's not direct loss, but it's still a big loss. I mean, because codes take money to generate, and not only that, they could have gone, okay, we've got 10 grand's worth of cash influx. We can spend on this, and then suddenly all that money disappears. It's like, fuck. Anyway, long story short, G2A knew this was going on, and just kept going, no, mate, no idea what you're about. Yeah, no, just sat there, like, flicking these bills, kind of sat there on a gold throne. Yeah, no idea, yeah. Illegal money? No. just knocking the white powder off the top of the chest pocket kind of thing. Yeah, no idea. So, yeah. G2A have done that for long enough to the point where they have backup money, they have a user base that is committed to buying games on G2A, whether they are legit or not now. So G2A have gone, okay, we have a solid, profitable revenue stream. Salford national anthem. So apologies for that. So they've got to the point where they've got, okay, we don't need the illegal stuff now. So yeah, now we'll stop it all. It's too late. It's too late. I stole Bibby's credit card and bought 80 copies of FIFA. Man, so minted he never noticed.
Yeah, right. Jesus Christ, I'm buying a house. I'm skinny as fuck, mate.
It sounds like one of Bender's parties from Futurama. It's just missing the blackjack tables. Oh, they were probably there as well, to be fair. I bet a lot of people have lost jobs over things like this because companies have to make marks, and when they don't, people get let go. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like, it's not always like an EA or something like that goes, oh, we're just gonna have to take the one off the end of the 12-digit number that we've earned this 5 seconds. It's like that guy that's been in business with his mate, and they've just taken on 2 or 3 members of staff kind of thing. They've took on an intern kind of thing, which they've then given a relatively low paid job, but that's a lot of money to them. We've stretched ourselves to be able to push this because we think having a good social presence and stuff will take our steps to the next level, and then they lose 12 grand. It's like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but we can't actually afford to keep you on because that's a large chunk of your salary and we can't afford that. So it's like, so yeah, people will have lost their jobs from this. G2A now going totally committed to tackling any incidents of fraud. You're not though. You might be now, but you haven't been. So yeah, it's not good enough for me. It's not good enough. One thing, I mean, is the door annoying? Is it too much? Because I
can't hear it. If I'm being honest.
Okay, I just want to make sure that if it's not like, because I'll wedge something under it or something. If it's fine, I'll just ignore it. But I just don't want to keep like interrupting the audio quality for you guys. But yeah, I mean, one thing like we've had to go through it as streamers, kind of look in terms of looking at partners. Okay, who could we partner with? Who do we feel is good from? I mean, if you look at a partner, you're either looking at a brand that you use already, a brand that your audience or your community might benefit from, a brand that has the same ideals as you, or usually it's a brand that will give you some sort of benefit, be that money, be that exposure, be that product, whatever. That's usually what you go for in a partner. So naturally we've had like looks at potential partners where we could chase. I mean, luckily we're in a position that we don't necessarily have to go chasing partners. But naturally, you, in your time looking at it, you see things like G2A and you go, nah, there's no way I could do that. I mean, especially if you want to be serious in the video games industry, as a content creation outfit, as we are, then how could we shout out to 2K, give a specific example. They provided us with a copy of Mafia, which, Mafia Trilogy, me and Danielle have started playing through, and we'll tick off over the next few weeks on the channel as we play through the entire story. They've been massaging PGA Tour Champions ego over the last few weeks as well. So 2K have got our back in that sense, a new relationship there, which is nice. But then if we go like sign up with G2A, we've got shitloads of unlegit 2K games on there, then that's not really supporting our partners as well. So yeah, let's stop talking about G2A. Do you know what? Let's not give them any airtime. They've admitted they've sold stolen game keys. They will stop doing that because they've already earned their money. But so yeah, on one hand it's good, on the other hand, is it just because it's convenient? But yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, let's move forward. Next news story, well, 2 news stories will kind of merge into one, is Call of Duty Warzone's new metagame will unveil Black Ops Cold War. So Warzone's latest treasure hunt could also result in a Cold War themed map revamp. There we go. Call of Duty Warzone has kicked off a metagame which will conclude the unveiling of the next Black Ops game. VGC understands. I mean, this on its own is big. Like using your video game as not just let's just trash the island. Let's create chapter 2 and things like that just for content. Having your video game allow people to unlock the next video game is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like that. So Call of Duty Warzone has kicked off a meta game which will conclude with the unveiling of the next Black Ops game, VGC understands. As first reported by our network partners Eurogamer and verified by VGC, the next Call of Duty game will be called Black Ops Cold War and return to the historical settings of the 2010 original. Spin-off Warzone has been a huge success for Activision, amassing more than 60 million players, and according to VGC sources, the publisher sees the free-to-play shooter as an ideal platform to unveil the next premium series installment. Warzone began teasing a Cold War theme this week when players were finally able to unlock bunker doors, which had been present in the game map since launch. Players later discovered how to use in-game phone messages to unlock a secret 11th bunker, which features scenery evocative of the Black Ops series, including a war room, a number countdown, and a nuclear warhead. Data mine files, game files have also uncovered models for a remote-controlled explosive car and a spy plane similar to the kill streaks featured in Black Ops. It's likely that the nuclear warhead discovered under Warzone's map will be used to trigger a map revamp, VGC was told, similar how to Fortnite used an in-game event to transition to Chapter 2. Studio sources told VGC this year that Activision has no intention of slowing down its premium Call of Duty releases, which will continue to be created under the leadership of Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer. Warzone is viewed as a third pillar alongside Call of Duty Mobile, and future full-price releases will continue to offer a premium package of campaign, multiplayer, and zombies/spec op modes going forward. Given the huge popularity of the free-to-play game, combined with the rich history of the Call of Duty franchise, it makes sense for Warzone to eventually evolve with content from outside of Modern Warfare, rather than creating a different battle royale for each sub-brand. In a recent interview, Infinity Ward's narrative director Taylor Kurosaki gave the clearest indication yet that Warzone would eventually acknowledge other Call of Duty brands, while stopping short of confirming it would integrate them like the series currently does with Call of Duty Mobile. We're in kind of uncharted territories here, he told French publication GamerGen. Call of Duty has been on a very regular cadence for many, many years, and Warzone has made us rethink exactly how best to release new content and how to integrate it. Call of Duty is a genre in itself. There are different branches in the Call of Duty tree, but they're all connected in some ways. He added, Warzone will be the through line that connects all of the different various sub-franchises of Call of Duty. It's going to be really cool to see how the different sub-franchises sort of come in and out of focus, but Warzone will be the one constant. Kurosaki added that because Activision plans to support Warzone for the long term, next-gen console versions of the game are an obvious next move. Yeah, absolutely. Nail on the head there from Asim. Ace way to drop breadcrumbs to the next game. Love it. I like that stuff. I do like that stuff. Asim, we came across when playing Warzone yesterday, answered a ringing phone with some kind of code. Also seen these bunkers too. Yeah, I mean, it is good. I like this sort of stuff. I like it when it's different, when it's new. I mean, ask me when Black Ops Cold War changes into whatever Sledgehammer's version of COD's going to be the year after. Is it going to be monotonous and tried and tested? Because that was kind of the thing with Fortnite. You'd start to see, oh, there's something in the sky, and you just get streams of people looking at the sky, and it'd be like, oh, something's coming closer. Is that getting bigger? And like, okay, that's fine. But then after you've had that like 8 seasons in, you're like, okay, you don't have to do the same breadcrumby trail. Sometimes you can just stick with it. Sometimes you can make it about a different theme, add different weapons or whatever. But I'm thinking of the future there. Forget future-proofing right now. It is a really, really good way to do it. I like the fact that we've just been thrown into Warzone after being thrown into Blackout, and Blackout just didn't go anywhere. Warzone is going somewhere. The game has just got better content. It's got the season pass stuff alongside it. You've got all the benefits that come with that side of things, and now there's a separate narrative, the metagame within it as well. I love it. Spike says, I love this. I just wish they hadn't kind of abandoned the rest of the game for this. It is fun, but I stopped playing Warzone, and now I'm left with the same game maps over and over on Ground War, etc. Haven't they just released another map as well? I think I saw that yesterday or the day before.
I have no idea, but does this mean that Warzone's going to change every single year then?
Yes, that was the thing we covered, I think, last week or the week before, that Warzone will be a cross-year title, rather than just being Blackout for Black Ops 4 and Warzone for Modern Warfare, and then it'll be Blackout 2 for Black Ops 5 or whatever. No, they're not doing that. It's Warzone for Modern Warfare, and Warzone will then be the title that continues every year. So we
Yeah.
will,
Well, no. I get that bit.
but then will change to suit that title. So at the moment, it's very
Right. Yeah.
very Modern Warfare themed. It will then start to change to more of a Black Ops theme. Maybe we'll keep Verdansk as the Warzone map, and maybe we'll get like I don't know, whatever the name would be for a Black Ops Cold War map. Maybe we'll get a different map for that. So maybe that is why Verdansk has a name for the map, and it's not just map. So I expect it
Very risky, innit? Because if people don't like playing Black Ops, then they ain't going to be playing Warzone for a year.
I agree, and that's the thing for me. I had some fun playing Black Ops, and less fun playing Black Ops 2. A lot of people really like Black Ops and Black Ops 2, and then started to then fizzled off a bit for 3 and 4. But I peaked before that, the Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, with like Black Ops and World at War mixed in. That was my kind of peak. So Black Ops just doesn't scratch the itch for me, not like Modern Warfare does. So playing Warzone in a Modern Warfare theme, yes. But if I start going back to more less current day, so Cold War's obviously not too far back in the past, but it's not World War One, World War Two, but it's far back enough that you shouldn't really be having anything of modern tech, no LCD screens and stuff like that. So yeah, same G, didn't really get into Blops, and a lot of people are like that. A lot of people do like Black Ops because that that was like the peak, just after the peak of, actually I think Black Ops 2 might have been the peak, but it was kind of living on borrowed time then. Like, some things are successful because the thing before it was successful. I always see Black Ops as that. It's probably unfair. I always see the Modern Warfare takeover as being, that was like Fortnite Season 1. It took over the world, and it was amazing because it was fresh and it was different, and everyone truly got onto it. But then like Season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever, they were good because of everyone had bought in earlier, and that was kind of Modern Warfare. It made the news like, oh my god, people are actually going out to Sainsbury's to pick up video games on a morning before work. I actually did that as well. So yeah, that for me is kind of, I bought into that. So I'm gonna I've played quite a bit of Warzone, not loads. I'm about halfway through the Battle Pass. I'm not gonna finish it, but I probably won't even invest in the Battle Pass for a Black Ops 1. Maybe. I mean, it depends. It depends if it comes with any more value in the proposition. But let's keep moving. The reason I said there was 2 stories is sticking with Warzone, not from that sort of point, but just more as in what's in there now, forgetting about the future. Obviously, there was a patch that came out. We covered that the other day. 20 gig on PlayStation, like 26 on Xbox, and then like 30 on PC, or vice versa for Xbox and PC. But within that, the RPG was supposed to be nerfed, because for anyone that's ever got to the final circle on Warzone recently, it's just like rocket, 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 rocket. So they're apparently nerfing it. However, written by Sherif Saed for VG247, just this morning, this article says the recent RPG nerf in Call of Duty Warzone is actually a buff. So rather than killing them, they've made them stronger. Yay! So RPGs continue to be a menace in Call of Duty Warzone, even after this week's supposed nerf. One of the biggest changes in this week's Call of Duty Warzone 1.21 patch has been a nerf to RPGs. The RPG, rocket propelled grenade for those that don't know, has always been lethal in Modern Warfare multiplayer, but that was just a fraction of how utterly broken it was in Warzone. Put simply, RPGs are more effective than any weapon. Unlike most weapons, you don't actually need to see your enemy to hit them with an RPG. As it stands, the number of rockets each player can carry in Warzone means that you can effectively use RPGs as a player detecting device, firing off 1 or 2 into the window of a building where you suspect someone might be camping. Their fast fire rate and reload speed also ensure that you can spam them at the first sign of trouble. So like the snake shot before them, RPGs needed a massive nerf, and this week's patch was supposed to bring us that. But this may not actually be the case. The Exclusive Ace, a Call of Duty YouTuber who made a career out of analysing weapon statistics and testing exploring areas that are not properly covered in-game, decided to test the new, supposedly less powerful RPG to see whether it's less effective now in Warzone. According to his findings, the only thing that the patch nerfed was the RPG's damage radius, which has had a very slight drop from 10 to 9 meters. The maximum damage on direct Now, the maximum damage on non-direct hits, which is what most RPG hits are, got a massive buff to its damage potential. 150 up to a whopping 250. That effectively means that you can down a fully armoured enemy by firing an RPG in their general direction. Psh. Another area that got buffed has been the minimum damage on non-direct hits, going up to 50 from 30, as the exclusive Ace notes launchers seem to have gotten a full rework sometime in late April. Because these changes were never officially communicated, we may never know how or exactly when. If you've been following Modern Warfare since launch, you may remember that this isn't actually the first time Infinity Ward rolled out a nerf that turned out to be a buff. Shortly after the launch, the 725 shotgun, the pain in the ass of that period itself got a nerf that made it more effective. GG's, guys, well done. Yeah, it's not good news for me, that bit. It's not good news for me, that. It's so frustrating because it must be the hardest thing in the world. You want to create a game that has multiple different ways of playing, that has balance. Every game, if someone puts an SMG on the floor and an AR next to it, you're going to pick up the AR because that's what you've kind of been conditioned to, because ARs have the medium to long range fighting, not usually up close, and they do kind of like jack of all trades, fast fire, they can be used with scopes, they don't have too much damage drop off, whereas SMGs will melt you if you're up close, but everything else, they're not very great. So okay, there's a bit of a trade-off there. You'd usually go for the M4, but you can see where the SMGs are better. That's fine. Then you start to go for the launchers, and it's like, okay, well, you can use them from far away. They can be a bit slow. You can't really use them up close. So, yeah, okay, they're slow. You can't use them up close. If you use them far away, they travel slow, so you get away. They're basically crap. So how do we give them use? How do we give them balance? Make them really damaging, yeah. And then as soon as they do that, people find the meta then, find ways to play with that in mind. Okay, I need to use the rocket launcher. I'm just going to fire it from the hip. I'm going to use fast reload, amped, so that I can stick another shell in it super quickly. And that's where like no scoping came from on sniper rifles. If you got a sniper rifle and you get a one-hit kill on it, boom. Okay, well, no scope. Use the auto lock on. No scope, bang. No scope, bang. So yeah, it's difficult to create different elements. Long range, sniper rifles, shotguns up close, RPGs. Those are the things that are always broken in Call of Duty. So I give them the benefit of the doubt, but in the very same breath, take it back again and go, do you know what? It's disappointing because it's always the same things. I've just qualified by saying those are the difficult bits to make, but it's always the same things. And if RPGs are overkill, OP as they are right now, you can't nerf them by giving them more strength. I mean, if they think the only thing wrong with it is the fact that it splash damage, if you're 10 meters away, you're getting hurt. Okay, well, let's drop it to 9. It's kind of here or there. People are firing. They don't understand how people are using them. You go into Warzone and there's a little house on top of a hill with a broken window. You think someone's in it because there's only 5 people left. Your team of 4 and 1 other. You just fire a rocket into it. You've got a bunch of them. It's not wasted. They're not going to be more than 5 meters away from that rocket if they're in that room anyway. So dropping the splash damage from 10 to 9 meters is irrelevant inside a building. So that's kind of pointless. That's the only thing they've done. Everything else has gone up. It's just like saying, okay, if you're firing at someone in an open field, then it's gonna be nerfed. But in every other situation, it's gonna be very, very much stronger. It's just baffling. But there we go. Yeah. You look like you're deep in thought. Then are you fixing your pop shield or something?
Yeah, like this microphone, it only cost me like 30 quid, quite a while ago. And I've never understood this. I mean, this is going well off the Black Ops and the Modern Warfare stuff, but I've never understood why the pop shield was at the top of the microphone there, because that hasn't got the microphone grill. So you're talking to the side. So I've just thought, you know what? I'll just move it to the side and see whether or not the audio's any better.
It is.
But is it?
Like you talk into the end of your microphone first.
Right, yeah, so this is how I've always had my microphone since I've had it. But then I'm just looking at it, and I'm thinking, why am I talking into a bit of plastic? So if I move it to this side and I'm talking actually into the grill part, that seems to make more sense.
It sounds clearer for me. I don't know about you guys listening, but it does sound clearer to me. The only thing I would say is if it's got multi-directional. If that is the case, if it's stereo mic, then you'll be talking into one person's ear as opposed to two. But I don't know what the settings are on the
I can't imagine it being on this mic. I'm sure it's just I can talk into the back, and I'm fairly certain it's going to be the exact same thing again.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I think
but
it
it
is.
just feels weird that the pop shield is at the top. So I've literally just bent the pins to move it round the front. But now it feels like the pop shield's miles away. I just need one of them foam covers, I think, and then I'll do that rather than having a pop shield. But yeah, this is the story of my life.
Just stick a sock on it. That's an actual studio hack. Is that you'll go into loads of radio studios up and down the country, and they'll just have a sock on a microphone. It does the same thing as having one of the foam sponges, but doesn't look good. You'll probably see there'll be loads of YouTube videos of studio at home, how to make your own pop shield, and it'll just someone goes sport sock, ta-da! Yeah. But was that a buzzkill sticker on your microphone as well?
No, but I have. That's just the GTX Trust.
Trust. Yeah, you get me.
Yeah.
Trust. Anyway.
But I've actually got a buzzkill sticker on my PC though. Gotta represent.
What, one of the hollow ones?
No, it's an old school one. This is an OG one, mate, from way back when.
Damn. When I used to work with musicians, socks and stockings were very much the hack. Yeah, absolutely. I only know that from uni days. I did a radio journalism degree, so I spent a lot of time in studios. And yeah, it was always like the long sort of like white sports, like you'll see Tim Henman wearing a tennis sock. It's always those, like a long white tennis sock usually. Although yeah, stockings and things were also used, but yeah, usually it was the big white sports sock because of the thickness of the material. But anyway, one final bit of news before we disappear. I'm going to fly through this just so that we can get into Masters of the League. Where is it? Is this? Do you want some free games? Babe?
I would love some free games.
Well, that's funny you say that, because Sherif Saed from VG247 says that Epic Games Store gives free games for the next 2 weeks. Actually, they've been leaked. There we go. A shaded leak about the Epic Games Store's lineup of free games for the next couple of weeks may actually be on the money. A little while after GTA 5 was made available for free on the Epic Games Store, a leak revealed the full lineup of all store freebies throughout the mega sale. The leak originated on Reddit, but like any good sketchy leak, it was a low-resolution image whose poster wouldn't say where it came from, so we ignored it. In that, it claimed that GTA 5 would be followed by Civilization 6 on May the 21st. My God, my reading, you can tell it's Friday. I'm definitely ready for the weekend. I'll start that paragraph again, though. It claimed that GTA 5 would be followed by Civilization 6 on May the 21st, Borderlands The Handsome Collection, which is Borderlands 2, and the pre-sequel on May the 28th, and Ark Survival Evolved on June the 4th. This week, of course, Epic announced Civilization 6 as the next free EGS game, leading credence to that leak. Those are all bigger games than EGS's usual freebies, and it all, of course, ties into the mega sale. Though it's easier to believe the leak now than it was a week ago, we'd still take this information with a pinch of salt. Guessing one game correctly doesn't necessarily mean that all the others would turn out to be true. If nothing else, none of these games would probably break Epic servers, quite like GTA 5 did. Do you know, that's a good list of games, is that?
It is a very good list of games. I absolutely adore Borderlands. So, I mean, I've got it on my 360. I've got it on my PS4. Chances are, because it's free, I'm going to get it on my PC as well. But yeah, absolutely amazing. Civilization, I've never really got into it, but I've downloaded it anyway, because why the hell would I not? But yeah, it's a fine collection.
I've never played Civilization. I must admit, Civilization, from what I've seen, doesn't look like my kind of game. Is it a world builder kind of thing?
Civilization,
or is it
like it's like Command and Conquer kind of thing? Yeah.
So I'll put some images on screen. Here it is in Google image search. There you go. Build and fight, armies and stuff. So yeah, that's not my kind of game. But even though it's not my kind of game, I'm happy enough to go, do you know what, that's good. That is good, because I know it's not my kind of game. It's very different from what I would be interested in a game. But big game. And Ice Cream Uploads member Jeroen in the chat says, interesting, Civ 6 is my most played game of all time. And that's what I mean. That's why I think it's, most played game on Steam, should I say. That's why I appreciate it. It's not for me, and I'm not going to play it. I will obviously add it to my library, because why not? It's free. But it's a big game. It's a different game, which is nice. You've got the open worldy GTA, and then you go into a completely different sort of like Command and Conquer-esque Civ 6, and then you're jumping into the Borderlands games, and then you finish off with Ark. 4 different games there, which is huge. I mean, 4 very big games. I mean, Ark has been a game that's caught my attention many, many times as well. Borderlands, I've never played, but now adding this to my collection, maybe. I mean, do you have to play Borderlands before you play Borderlands 2? Because if you do, then that's going to stop me playing them ever. But
wait, you got the pre-sequel first.
Is
the
it...
pre-sequel, then 1, 2, and then 3.
I thought pre-sequel was like it came just before Borderlands 2, but okay, that makes sense in its name. I was thinking it was like pre-sequel, as in like you got Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2 is the sequel. I thought pre-sequel was like after 1.
Is it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just assuming from the name. I don't. It could be anyway. It could be a sequel that comes before a prequel, but they've just put that in as a marketing name. I don't know. I've never played them, so I can't say.
I can't remember. I thought the pre-sequel was before 1.
It could be. Like I say, I have no idea. I tried to update the discussing now, and I just put in Epic apostrophe capital S. Epic's free games leaked. Wow.
Right, the pre-sequel takes place in a time lost between Borderlands and Borderlands 2. It is meant to be a sequel to the first game and a prequel to the second. There you go.
Why are you going in there? There we go. Trying to just move things around and managed to drop Chrome inside another folder on stream. I was broke it out. It's fine. So what? Sorry, what did you say then? Epic's.
You are right. It's a sequel. It's a sequel, but a prequel, so it's in between 1 and 2.
Okay. I mean, I didn't actually know that. I assumed that from reading the names, but it could have meant anything really. But yeah, big games there. So GTA 5 already killed Epic servers. Massive. You should have all had it. If you haven't got it, you've missed out on an offer and a half. Civ 6 out now. You've got until next week, a week yesterday, to get that game. If you don't get it, okay, that's fine. Moves on. Borderlands Handsome Collection, Borderlands 2, the pre-sequel, and then after that, May 28th, Borderlands, yeah, and then after that, June the 4th, we get Ark Survival Evolved. So I will add Civ 6, probably won't play it. I will add Borderlands Collection, and we'll keep them in mind. I will add Ark, and that's probably the one that I'm more likely to play after GTA, I think. We were never good at those types of games. It took us ages to learn how to attack on that SNES game like Command & Conquer. Yeah, I keep talking about that one. I keep mentioning, like, whenever we talk about Command & Conquer, that's the one that I bring up. Like, us kind of like, what do you even do on this? When you're playing a game like Command & Conquer, when you're like 8 or whatever the feck I was, David was about 11, maybe a year or two older, and you've played nothing but like the likes of Mario Kart and things like that, and you just suddenly have to create a base and fire rockets over it. It took us weeks to figure out what we were doing. But we got good at them. We did. We were never good. We got good eventually, but it took us well longer than it should do because we had no instruction guides or we didn't know what it was. But anyway, let's wrap things up. We've got Masters of the League to jump into. Thank you everyone for getting involved in the stream. For those of you that missed everything and you're just tuning in now for the Masters of the League, completely understand why you do that. But the news of the day is that Valorant is releasing on June the 2nd. So it's coming out of beta, having a full release in just under 2 weeks. So feel free to grind your key drops between now and then. If not, you'll be able to play on June the 2nd anyway. Call of Duty Warzone's new metagame will unveil Black Ops Cold War. So all the messages in-game are pointing to an in-game reveal of the next COD game, which will be Black Ops Cold War. As well as that, the RPGs in Call of Duty are being buffed instead of being nerfed, which is obviously the plan. Yeah, GG guys. G2A admits that it has been selling stolen game keys, and finally there is more games on the Epic Games Store. Civ 6 now, Borderlands Handsome Collection a bit later on, then Ark Survival Evolved following that. So lots of stuff. But like I said, we are going to wrap things up today. We're going to drop off the stream and be back about 5-10 minutes-ish later on, straight into episode 5, I think, of Masters of the League.
Yeah.
So, like I said, please feel free to stick around. You don't have to go anywhere. Drop straight back in. Just linger in the chat, because you'll get us straight back on. We'll be on within a few minutes-ish. So, yeah. Please. Anything you want to add before we disappear, babe?
Yes, we aren't streaming on Monday, are we?
We aren't. Bank holiday off.
Bank holidays. So, if you do see anything knocking around on the social media platform of your choice over the next 3 days, then do feel free to tag us in at We've Got a Beanio, at Graham_Day, and of course at Ice Cream Rules to take your thoughts and impressions and give our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which is at what time on Tuesday, Graham?
10 a.m.
Ish.
So yes, if we don't see you before, if you don't stick around for Masters of the League, have yourselves a lovely weekend. Remember, Masters of the League straight after the gap. We will end the stream. It will say we've gone offline. We do that so we can export to YouTube and all the audio places for you guys much quicker. But then we will jump back on again once we've set up for Masters of the League. So yes, if we don't see you till Tuesday, have yourselves a lovely weekend. If we see you very, very soon. Either way, what do they need to be doing, babe?
They need to stay frosty.
Sensual.